You can find links to all our shows at arcanemediallc.com. That's RKANEMEDIALLC.com. Now let's get started. And now, recording from beautiful and sexy Miami, with your hosts, Seth and Laz and Research Lucas. It's Because We Said So.
Well, we're gonna go ahead and just rock and roll with your Frozen thing, just because I think it'll be funny. So yeah, this Because We Said So. We got Seth in mic 1, we got Laz in mic 2, we got Lucas in mic. Oh, he unfroze.
Hey, back in.
Just in time. His image was frozen and we didn't get him. And we got Adrian here at mic 4. What's up, bro?
What's up, man?
First time on the show. First time I meet him. Happy that you're here. He was early. That's what's up. You know,
known to be late.
That's what's up. So we appreciate you being here. So we're going to go ahead and get things started. We hail from Miami. Get us at our website at Arcane Media LLC. Twitter's at Because We Said So. I'm sorry. Twitter's at BWSS Podcast. YouTube is at Because We Said So. You can email me at Seth at ArcaneMediaLLC.com. We record everything at Arcane Studios. So if you want to watch all of our shows on YouTube, feel free. And you can listen wherever you listen to podcasts, Spotify, Amazon, iTunes, all that crap. I do code the show for YouTube, so those of you who want to jump ahead, I guess. So all the music is by The In Silence, and please check out our sister show, Your Inner Buddha, Growth and Spirituality. I've been recording a couple episodes lately just because I've been super, super busy, but I'll get back to it. And we release weekly when I get the editing done. Please share, tell your friends, subscribe, comment, like, all that crap. And this is BWSS episode 112. Wildfires across the world, Greece, Canada, Russia, Hawaii, and then, Plum, Pennsylvania house explosion, which just happened on Saturday. Did you guys, before I even brought this up, I know Lucas did because I sent it to him. Laz, Adrian, did you guys hear about this at all?
No. The explosion?
Yeah.
No, and I actually had another friend send it to me also.
Okay.
Before this, I didn't hear about it, but...
Into the mic?
Yeah, but when you sent it to me...
Sweet.
The explosion was way bigger than I thought.
Dude, it was super.
Yeah, it was like a missile.
Yeah, for sure. For sure. All right, so here we go. We're going to go ahead and jump right in. We do have WTF news. Laz has some beef. Actually,
slash asshole.
You got beef asshole combo. Okay, we're not doing quick news this week just because we do have a lot to cover. But I do want to jump into this Washington Post, Timothy Bella, what we know about the Pennsylvania home explosion. And the reason why is because, I mean, this explosion was a pretty big deal. And what's interesting about this whole situation with the explosion is this isn't the first time an explosion has hit this little town here. It's actually happened quite a few times. And I do want to start with showing the actual explosion itself. And this is actually one of the homes previously that was in the area, and it was obviously Ring door cam. So yeah, this is a Ring door cam. This house was about 200 yards away or so. Here we go. Bro. And you can see like the wave, there's stuff
Yikes.
like landing, bro. Like that's a massive, massive explosion. So they're not really sure exactly what it was. You know, they aren't really sure what caused it. But at 10:23 a.m. on last Saturday, 5 people were killed, including a child in a Pennsylvania house explosion over the weekend that caused multiple injuries, leveled 2 other homes, and damaged at least a dozen residences, according to authorities. This is just a sad, sad day, Allegheny County Executive Rich Fitzgerald said at a news conference Saturday, adding that the explosion was a loss that no words can convey. Many questions remain about the home explosion. The third in Plum, so this is in Plum, the third in Plum in the last 15 years.
Yeah, I saw that.
So could you imagine living in an area where there's been like, 2 other house explosions in the last, 15 years, and now there's a third one?
And they wouldn't even know.
What's that?
No, I'll move.
Yeah, I've moved too.
Sure.
It'd be time to pack it up. The problem is your freaking property value is going to go way down. That's for sure. You're not going to be able to sell your house for much. So when police responded to the 911 call, first responders were met with total devastation at 141 Rustic Ridge Drive. There were people, quote, there were people trapped under debris, and it appeared as if one house had exploded and 2 others were engulfed in fire, county officials said in a news release. Multiple other homes were damaged and with windows blown out. Water tankers from both Allegheny and Westmoreland counties and 18 other fire departments responded to the scene, officials said. A neighbor told the Pittsburgh Post-Gazette that as many of 11 of the homes damaged in the explosions would have to be demolished. So not only like this, but you're going to have to demolish the houses nearby, probably because of some sort of structural issues that caused from the explosion. But bro, that shit is no joke, man.
But you know, the thing is, up north, you guys have a lot of gas, right?
It's a lot of gas, yeah.
But is it like coming from a place like the water here, or is it like gas like on a line?
It's on a line.
Like it's on a line that goes to each house?
Correct.
Like
it's like underground. Like, underground gas lines.
On a good portion of the houses, but there's quite a few, including mine, that we have our own propane gas tank.
You do?
So somebody comes in. Yeah. Like we used to have that here where somebody comes and fills up the propane. But like in Miami Beach, you're just on a meter, basically.
Yeah. That's what I didn't realize there's fill your own propane, but I'm used to everything being on a meter. We
have a 275 pound or gallon, however it goes, tank.
How often do you have to fill it?
Once. It's actually not even fill. We only ever use the stove, the oven, and the dryer.
Okay.
But what about like your water heater?
Yeah.
Your water heater.
That's electric.
Okay.
Electric. Heat is oil, which
where do you get the oil from?
Oil's in a tank. I remember that.
Yeah.
You see oil delivery from the heat and all that.
Yeah, so imagine some shit like that exploding when oil everywhere, gas everywhere.
Well, oil doesn't have explosive capabilities like gas does.
Yeah, but it'll be on a fire for a long time.
That's true. That's true.
You can't take out.
So the cause of the explosion is still under investigation by Plum, Allegheny County law enforcement agencies, and the county fire marshal's office. Authorities have stressed that they may not know what caused the explosion for some time. This investigation may last for months, if not years. People's Natural Gas, name of the company, shut off gas services to about 50 homes Saturday out of abundance of caution. Officials confirmed to reporters that Rustic Ridge Estates, is where the houses are, is surrounded by shallow oil and gas wells and located atop abandoned mine land. So abandoned land that's been mined before, while 2 producing vertical gas wells are within 1,000 feet of the home that explosions. So vertical gas mines within 1,000 feet of where this house exploded. You're building over abandoned mines, and the pipelines run behind the development. Some of the structures have been linked to the cause of the explosion, but Post-Gazette reported that, there's no official word on that. Residents have noted this is not the first time Plum Borough has been rocked by a home explosion. In 2008, home explosion in Holiday Park neighborhood killed Richard Leaf, 64, and injured his 4-year-old granddaughter, Gianna Pettinano. The National Transportation Safety Board later determined that the corrosion to an underground gas line resulted in a leak to that explosion. Last year, another house in Holiday Park section exploded in a blast that didn't kill anyone but left a family displaced. The cause of the April 22 explosion is still unclear. So we need answers. We need to know what is happening. Neighbor Jim Newton told WTAE after the Saturday explosion. It's sad that people lost their lives. We don't have answers. We need answers for these families. We need answers for this community. So this is what's kind of crazy. The Saturday blast was worse than James Sims, chief of the Holiday Park Volunteer Fire Department, had ever seen. Quote, "I've been in 6 house explosions in Plume, and this is the worst I've seen in 48 years. 6.
Do gas explosions look like that normally from houses?
Bro. I mean, not like that.
Really weird, bro.
Not like that.
Like when you watch movies and they have to just get rid of something?
It looks like a movie explosion.
Yeah. It looks like Richard Bay. You go back to that?
Richard Bay.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, dude, if you go back, that explosion is up high. You can see right here, there's like debris, like this sign that was blown off, and you can see over here how this glass door was blown open on the right. And then, you keep watching it. There's debris that just starts landing. Like, bro, that's insane. Yeah. So, I hate to say it, but I think everyone just needs to get the fuck out of that area. It's time to pack it up, guys. Take your losses.
Gas going everywhere. Like,
bro,
it's crazy.
3 just in the last 15 years. And it wasn't like a little boom. That literally, like they said, 11 houses are going to be demolished. So we'll see what happens. But yeah, unfortunately, a lot of people did lose their lives, and 5 people, and it's definitely a bummer. So, all right, we're going to jump into these wildfires, and we know about the wildfire in Maui. It's a big deal. Unfortunately it's taken a big toll on that community. But instead of just covering that, there's been a lot of wildfires going on this year. So you guys heard about the one going on in Greece and all that?
No.
Okay.
Not until after this.
So Greece, we know about Canada because all the smoke that's been coming down and all that. So wildfires across the world. This is India today. Wildfires are becoming increasingly frequent and widespread, causing significant human casualties and extensive environmental economic damage. The surge in wildfires is attributed to rising global temperatures and an increase in extreme weather events, leading to rapid consumption of vast areas of vegetation and forest lands. The European Forest Fire Information System, EFFIS, reported that over 234,000 hectares, or about 904 square miles of land across the European Union, have already burned this year alone, and that's as of July 29, 2023. Data from World Fire Atlas over the past 7 years reveals a substantial number of fires detected in Portugal, Italy, Greece, France, and Spain. Canada, currently battling its worst wildfire season on record, has seen a staggering 705% increase in fires during the last 7 months alone in 2023 compared to the same period over the previous 6 years. So Canada, bro, they've been on fire for what? When was do you remember when the smoke was, Lucas?
Oh, geez.
Like a month ago.
More than that.
April.
Actually, you know
May.
what?
Research Lucas.
May? It was more than a month ago?
It was more than a month ago. Yeah, I don't know when we were talking about that, but the Canada fires have been just burning like freaking crazy.
The fires that were going to New York, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, the smoke. Yeah. Well, it started in New York and then it was hitting Chicago because the winds had changed. So winds of change.
It's crazy how the smoke can come from all the way up there and just like,
bro,
not all the way up there, but like
the Canada smoke is hitting Europe, believe it or not.
Really?
Yeah, dude. Some of the skies in Canada have been darkened a little bit just because they can tell, like they have luminosity. I can't remember the exact name of the meter, but they can, detect luminosity. And there's a satellite that detected the smoke going over the Atlantic into south eastern parts of Europe. So 4 interconnected factors between climate change and wildfires. So these are 4 things that are making the wildfires more prominent. Higher temperatures, no doubt. As Earth's average temperatures rises due to climate change, many regions experience hotter and drier conditions, heat waves, and droughts. Higher temperatures can lead to increased evaporation, drying out vegetation, and making it more susceptible to ignition and creating more conducive environment to wildfires that start to spread. So that makes a lot of sense. Obviously, the drier the land, the more it's things are going to catch on fire. But not only that, the hotter things are, the easier it is for a fire to catch on.
What's crazy is Canada's not really. Well, I mean, it's not really a hot place.
It's not.
Even the people that were like visiting, like at the hotel, like in like May, June, July, like it's still cold in Canada. You know what I mean? Like I'm just like, that's crazy.
But it's not as cold. You should ask them.
It's not as cold, but it's not hot for a fire, like for dry brush. But I guess it is now.
Well, here's the thing. It doesn't have to be super, super hot. It just has to be dry more than anything. So it could be dry and it could be 40 degrees. Things will catch fire. It could be 90 degrees. If it's wet, it's going to be much more difficult. But the fact that there isn't as much precipitation, which is kind of counterintuitive because obviously the more heat there is, the more evaporation there is, which should bring more rain, which it has. We could do another whole show just on flooding. China's been flooding. India's been flooding. Obviously, up in, I think it was Maine.
Research Lucas.
I think Maine flooded. Like there was massive flooding in Maine going off. California, we know what happened to them. They had this drought going where they legit, like they didn't even know where they're going to get water to drink. And then all of a sudden they got enough rain for like 3 years that Lake Mead is back up. There's a dry lake bed that they were used for farming because it had been dried out for so long. They emptied out the rest of it. Now it's a lake again, like not thousands, but several square miles. So number 2, increased lightning strikes. This kind of goes along with the higher temperatures creating more evaporation. As temperatures rise and weather patterns change, there's an increased likelihood of thunderstorms, which can result in more lightning strikes. Lightning is a common natural ignition source for wildfires, and more lightning increases the chances of wildfire igniting in remote areas. Vegetation changes. This is another one. Climate change can alter the composition of vegetation in a given area. Some plant species may be more dominant due to changing conditions, and these new species might be more flammable. This can contribute to an increased risk of wildfires. And then lastly, this is the one, we're going to get into it more, but this is the one that made the huge difference in Greece, actually, but definitely in Maui. Increased winds. Climate change can influence the wind patterns, which can in turn affect the speed and direction of wildfires. Strong winds can help fires spread more rapidly, making them harder to control. So science has been warning us for the longest time. This has been a crazy year for fires. The question is, even last year, do we think this is just an odd couple years, like the drought in California, and everything's good? Do you feel like things are going to go back to normal? Maybe we won't have any more fires?
No, not at all.
No?
The one in Maui, they said that the hurricane off coast was contributing to the winds.
Yeah, big time.
Yeah.
Big time.
I feel like because the world shut down, at that time, and everything went to where the earth was kind of doing its own thing instead of how it was before. That's probably why all this is happening now.
That could be.
Yeah.
Because after COVID, it kind of shut down, and now we're full
and now everything's
production.
full blast again, and then it just went back to normal.
That could be. It definitely makes a lot of sense.
Because it didn't happen before.
That's true.
It just went haywire. Because remember, everything was when they were looking at how much pollution was in the air, and the sky was clear, and everybody was more healthy. It was just weird.
Yeah.
Besides
temperatures weren't as hot.
Yeah, it was a weird 2 years. Or
it was a great 2
years.
years.
Amazing.
Yeah, it really was.
Until we came back.
Yeah. And then Earth got back to normal. So the Greece wildfires, this happened last month. I didn't really pay that much attention to it because, here we go, another wildfire. But just to, kind of illustrate or dictate or elucidate what we're talking about here. Duarte Mendonca, Chris Lykos, and Alinda Labropoulou. So Alinda Labropoulou and Amy Cassidy. I can tell you, Greek names, Greek words are tough to pronounce, so you have to forgive me. So this is actually July 24th, this article. So this article was a few weeks ago. So tourists flee roads wildfires in Greece's largest ever evacuation. A large wildfire tearing through the Greek islands of Rhodes forced thousands of tourists to flee their hotels in what Greek officials say was the largest evacuation effort in the country's history. In Rhodes, those caught up in the blaze described chaotic and frightening scenes, with some having to leave on foot or find their own transportation after being told to leave. Amy Layden, British tourist in Rhodes, said she was told to leave her hotel immediately, or she and her family, quote unquote, would not make it. It was just terrifying, she told Sky News. We've got our 11-year-old daughter with us, and we were walking down the road at 2 o'clock in the morning, and the fire was catching up with us. Cedric Gousset, Belgian tourist, fled Saturday with nowhere to go. We really just took our identity cards, water, and something to cover our faces and heads. Turkey, Croatia, and Egypt are assisting Greeks' firefighting forces. According to the fire service, record heat wave predicted in Greece. We will probably go through 15 to 16 days of a heat wave, which has never happened before in our country. Kostas Lagavoros, director of research at the National Observatory of Athens. Previous longest continuous heat wave that Greece had faced was 12 days long back in 1987. Temperatures in Athens this summer could possibly break the city's all-time record, which was set in 2007 when Athens registered 44.8 degrees Celsius, or 112 degrees Fahrenheit. 200. Yeah. Still, 112 degrees Fahrenheit?
Is nuts, bro.
That's insane. Especially for an area that's surrounded by water. You would expect that in the middle of the desert or something like that.
It's even here, even we've been getting the map, it's excessive heat wave.
Yeah.
Be careful.
You can't go outside.
It's nuts right now. Like, you can't be outside. Like,
but here's the thing. Here in Florida, it generally doesn't get above 93, 94 degrees. It just doesn't.
It doesn't feel like 93 degrees.
But that's the thing. Like, the feels like temperature has been over 100 every day, even though we're still right around that 91, 92 degrees every day.
That's nuts, bro. It's not.
The heat's crazy. I take Alicia out to the park. Normally we go for a nice long walk, bro. We go out to the park. We go to play tennis, bro. After 15 minutes, she wants to go home, and that doesn't happen. So it's bad.
Yeah,
but
I don't even want to walk my dog.
No, I would imagine he doesn't, or she.
Yeah, she
doesn't want to get walked either. She's like, but I gotta go.
I just gotta take a piss. I'm out. Put me back in.
It's like when you're outside skiing, and you gotta take a leak, and it's like 20 degrees outside. Man, it's hard to whip that out when it's 20 degrees. Let me tell you.
Yeah, I have to.
Yeah. So here's the deal with the Canadian wildfires, because Canada is up north, and we're going to talk about this. We're going to get into it a little bit more after the break. But Canada has been getting pummeled a lot more, recently, and especially this year. But the same thing with Russia. These higher elevations that are generally more cold have been seeing a lot more forest fire, like wildfires, comparatively to the rest of the world on a percentage basis. Record-setting wildfires in Canada could potentially continue burning at an abnormally high rate for several more weeks. Though the spread of the blaze is likely to start diminishing in September, forest fires have engulfed parts of nearly all 13 Canadian provinces and territories this year, forcing home evacuations, disrupting energy production, and drawing in federal as well as international firefighting resources. 4 firefighters have been killed in the line of duty. So far, 134,000 square kilometers or 52,000 square miles of land have been scorched, more than 6 times a 10-year average, and nearly 168,000 people have been forced to evacuate at some point. This summer has turned into a challenging marathon, Canadian Forest Service official Michael Norton told a media briefing on Friday. Norton said the simultaneous flaring up of blazes across the country was quote-unquote virtually unheard of, and largely due to drought conditions that continue to intensify in some areas and will contribute to ongoing fire activity through the late summer. Fires have also sent plumes of smoke across Canadian and U.S. skies, raising health alarms and concerning scientists. Smoke from Canada wildfires have also crossed the Atlantic Ocean and darkened skies in southwest Europe. EU's Copernicus Atmospheric Monitoring Service estimated last week that Canadian wildfires, this is huge, Canadian wildfires have released 290 metric tons of carbon, over 25% of the global total for 2023 to date. And this is the problem, because more wildfires puts more carbon into the air. More carbon into the air makes everything a lot more dry and just exacerbates this whole thing. But the fires just in Canada alone have contributed 25% of all the carbon released on the planet.
Do you feel like it's because a lot of the land is like barren?
Because it's drying up, I'd say.
No, because when the California fires were going on, because we haven't heard that much California fires now. It's like somehow, some way, it just moved a little bit further
Probably because they all burned already.
But there's nobody, and a lot of the places that probably the fires are going on, nobody lives there, so they're not even trying to like stop it or prevent it. Like, if there was like a fire that was like here, we don't.
They have them at the Everglades.
Yeah, but it's far away from.
We get smoke down here, and you get the little ash that falls down.
Randomly.
I remember back in the day working on restaurants that had outside tables. Like after every table, you had to wipe the ash off the table.
Yeah, but
it's been a while.
Yeah, but but now it's moving further north. Like maybe the whole world is changing of like how things are going on. You know what I mean? Like
we talked about it.
Yeah, that's what's going on right now. So it's like people are. I'm pretty sure like hundreds of years ago, or maybe like thousands of years ago, we'll just move away from anything that's going to be like weird. But I feel like the whole world is just changing slowly. And now it's up there, because before it was like more southern, more south.
Yeah, with like everything heating up, Miami used to be, relatively like a good place to live, but now it's getting way too hot.
It's hot.
So like the same temperature that Miami used to be in the 80s is now like in Georgia, and it's like slowly moving up.
Exactly, that's what I'm saying. So like it's kind of like we're all like shifting. I don't think the Earth is shifting. I mean, who knows?
We're talking about how hot it is down here. I mean, you guys have seen, I thought about maybe covering this, and we might still, but the water down here, like, and the water was registering over 100 degrees.
Yeah, that's
like you
never
would get in the
happened
water.
before.
No, and the reason why is because there's no wind blowing, the heat off the surface of the water. You go into the water, it's over 100 degrees in some areas, especially like in some of the bays and stuff like that, especially along the keys like Alamorada and stuff. So, and they found that there is coral bleaching going on right now at the same time. So the problem is the heat, man. And when you have all this heat, and evaporating stuff into the air and all this stuff dries out, it's just one of those situations where it's just going to keep getting worse and worse. But yeah, the heat's getting insane.
I remember in high school, my teacher told we were already going to be underground anyways.
We are going to be underground. Yeah, all this is gonna be
underwater. Sorry, not
yeah,
underground.
50 years, bro. All this is going to be underwater. It's just the way it is. And if you look at what's going on now, like, once again, we talked about heat. We were talking about
flooding.
in how some of these glaciers are melting and putting methane into the air because there's all this methane trapped underground. But when these glaciers melt, and that's the thing, the northern areas and the southern areas of the planet are heating on a percentage basis much faster than the rest of the world, just because it's so cold there.
Yeah, but
here,
should it be getting colder somewhere else, or this is just it? Like,
No, if everything
everything's
heats
getting
up,
warm.
That's it.
yeah, if everything heats up, like, that's it.
We're destroying
Pretty
ourselves.
much, Lance, pretty much, and I'll use my one this time.
Go ahead.
Pretty much, Lance, we're all fucked.
Yeah.
No,
At
we
least-
just keep
at
moving
least-
north.
Well, that's what's going to happen. But the problem is, we can keep moving north, but as long as we keep, doing what we're doing, it's not going to help. We can move all we want. Those are the changes we need to make. So, but hopefully, I mean, like I said, China's having major issues with flooding. They're having issues, like the whole world. I mean, the temperatures, in fact, so the company that I worked for, we have our, one of our lead, in fact, our head researcher, she lives in Phoenix. She actually lived here. She moved to Phoenix last spring. Bro, it was over. In fact, I have it for a quick news. I keep having to bump it off because we keep doing these shows that just, have a lot of information. But bro, it was like over 110 degrees for like 15 days in a row.
In Phoenix.
110 degrees every day, over 110 degrees it reached every day for like 15 days, bro. That's insane.
People's shoes are melting.
What am I?
Yeah. People were getting third degree. There are old people that were falling because I can't get up, but they fell. They couldn't get up, and they literally was second and third degree burns because they fell on like blacktop.
Oh shit.
Yeah, dude.
Yeah, it's a frying pan
Yeah, like you can legit cook an egg on that shit.
or a human.
Might take a while, or a
human.
human. That's true. So, any last minute thoughts before we jump into this Maui wildfire thing? Because this Maui thing's pretty messed up. But it's a prime example of how all the stuff contributing to global warming can have such a devastating effect.
Yeah, it's just gonna keep getting worse.
Yeah, 100% it is. Well, until it starts getting better.
What do you
Which
think
it
you're
will.
gonna do? We're gonna live underwater or on the ground?
Underground.
In the mountains, bro.
Yeah,
Just
get
not in
away-
Canada where all the
with sun.
wildfires are. So you go up in
Or
elevation, it's
California.
cooler up there. Yeah.
Or California.
Yeah.
Yeah, but California, they're not even having like the craziness of before.
Dude, it's like straight up. The fact that Canada's wildfires have emitted 25%, that's the scientists' estimation. Could be more than, a little bit more, a little bit less, but 25% of all the carbon for the entire world, just that fire alone, bro.
That's nuts.
That's nuts. And that's just that fire. All the other fires going on. We're going to talk about Russia a little bit later after the break. So Emily May Zakor, CBS, how the hell, she didn't say how the hell, but how did the Maui fire start? What we know about the cause of the Lahaina blaze. So much of Hawaii was under red flag warning for fire risk when the wildfires broke out, but the exact cause of the blaze is still unknown. Quote, we don't know what exactly ignited the fires, but we were made aware in advance by the National Weather Service that we were in a red flag situation. That's dry conditions for a long time. So the fuel, the trees and everything was dry. That along with the humidity and the wind set the conditions for the wildfires. The powerful winds fanning the flames were generated by Hurricane Dora, which, Adrian, you mentioned, a storm that was moving across the Pacific Ocean hundreds of miles south of the Hawaiian Islands. The hurricane, classified as a Category 4, contributed to heavy wind gusts above 60 miles an hour in Maui, knocking out power lines and damaging homes. Meanwhile, Hawaii Emergency Management Agency spokesperson Adam Weintraub told the Associated Press on Thursday the department's records don't show that the Maui's warning sirens were triggered on Tuesday. Instead, the county used emergency alerts and sent to mobile phones, televisions, and radio stations. The problem is there was no freaking electricity. Power lines were down. So you're sending these warnings to televisions, phones, and radios.
Phones, you might get it for a day or two. But
if the tower that powers the phone system,
God.
That's the thing, bro. They have these sirens. So here we go. The state's integrated outdoor siren warning system is the largest in the world with about 400 alarms. Quote, we rely on emergency alert systems to keep us safe from a number of things, one local said. You think tsunamis, you think other types of emergencies like wildfire. That should have been our first line of defense. Unfortunately, these days, alerts come on our phones, our cell phones, but we also know there was no cell phone. What's that?
The sirens were not working.
They never went off and never even tried to turn them on. Like nobody decided to flip the switch.
But how are those powered if the power lines go down?
That's a good question, but you would think that, at least one of them or two of them, it's not like all the power was out across, Maui and even, where a lot of these fires were located. And the thing is, they probably sent these alerts out. Some people did get the alerts. It wasn't like nobody got them. Some of them didn't get them. But a lot of people, holy shit, we got to get out of here. Who the hell's going to look at their phone? We got to get out of here. It's like, you know what I'm saying? But go ahead.
Going back to the phone, like what happened with a few years ago with the Hawaii missile alert?
Yeah, North Korea.
Inbound missile.
There was I didn't hear that.
No?
Yeah, they pretty much sent out a presidential alert to shelter in place because there is a missile coming.
There's a missile coming? From North Korea?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, God. I believe it, but there's no missile coming from North Korea.
Then a little bit later, they came out there was a fluke. There was a system error.
Was there a siren? Well, North Korea launches a whole bunch of shit. But the sirens went off?
Yeah, on their phone.
Yeah,
okay.
On their phone. Like a severe weather alert, amber alert, everyone's
that's what they're saying that they did with this, but
nobody got their message because
a lot of people didn't get it.
But how is that possible? Oh, because
you would think they will have generators in the towers. Emergency generators.
That would make sense, or at least battery backups that are like solar powered,
or generator backup. Like that makes no sense.
They might. States. Let's see here. Hawaii Attorney General Ann Lopez announced Friday that her agency would conduct a comprehensive review of critical decision-making and standing policies leading up to and during and after the wildfires. So, let's hope that they get that figured out. But yeah, I agree. They should have some sort of battery backup. Call Tesla. They can put a battery backup system that's like linked to some sort of solar array or something to keep them going. So we're gonna take a break from Maui. We're gonna come back with some Maui stuff, the aftermath, like what it was like after it all happened, all that. We're also gonna talk about unfortunately the wildfire trend. So the show's gonna stay along this deep path at least until we get to Laz's part of the show. Laz's Corner Positivity. But we are gonna jump into shout outs. So we'll get into Lucas's WTF news. So Laz, any shout outs over there?
No shout outs today. My shout out is here.
Okay.
Adrian.
Okay. Yeah. Yeah. Made it on the show. So this is Laz's first person he brought on the show. He's had a couple other people, but I got to give you credit, Adrian, because a lot of people talk about wanting to come on the show. Most people don't have the balls to follow through.
Bullshit.
Yeah. They'll cancel like the day of, or like a couple days before.
Horrible.
Yeah.
You gotta have balls.
Yeah. Well, that's exactly it. People are afraid to look stupid, and let's face it, like I have all the information. You just have to, have an intelligent thing to say, which is Lucas's biggest issue. Go ahead, Lucas.
Oh, shit.
No, I was going to say, looking dumb, that's my job.
There you go.
You don't have to worry about that.
The truth hurts.
Dumbass.
The truth hurts. You need to grow thicker skin.
Who, me? No way.
No,
My
the other
ego's
people.
way too big. So, any shout outs over there, Lucas?
Nah, not this week.
No, really? Okay.
Yeah.
Just had a shout out, Rick. How about you, AJ? Any shout outs over there?
Shout out to the family. Shout out to Cuba. Shout out to firefighters
Yeah.
doing their thing.
Definitely going to shout out the firefighters. That's for sure. First responders, especially out in Maui. No doubt about that. I do have one shout. I want to shout out my boy Benoit, who he's been on the show. Everyone here, well, Adrian, you don't, but fans of the show, you know him. Obviously, Lucas, Laz, you know him. He was going through a lot of challenges, man, and he got a job working at a pretty pimp restaurant, doing really, really well. He came over he gave Alicia like a birthday present, like wrapped it with the balloon and a singing card and like sang her happy birthday and all that. So, and he's been, he helped me out a couple times when I needed. So I just want to shout him out because he's really like, things have turned around for him. He deserves it. So I just want to give him a little shout out there. He probably won't see this because I don't think he watches the show every week. But anyway, that being the case,
It's time for. Wait a minute. What the fuck?
it's time for Lucas's WTF News. What do you got this week, Lucas?
Did you just call me Lucis?
I might have.
Lucius?
Yo, you can't speak
Is that
today
from
Yeah, my
Empire?
mouth is
bro.
working
I don't know
today
what the
very
fuck is
well.
wrong with you today.
It could be Lucas.
You're not the first one to call me that. I just wanted to make sure
Lucas.
you mispronounce my name since you're my brother.
With the weather.
Don't we miss Lucas doing the weather? We might have to do it again. All right, what you got, Lucas?
So this one's from Yahoo Life. I'd had to look it up, but this is Don't insult my culture.
Yahoo. How do you say it, Adrian?
Wahoo.
Wahoo?
No, Yahoo.
Yahoo.
No,
Okay.
you're fucking.
Laz?
Yahoo.
Yahoo. All right.
When
So
I was
it's
in
not
school,
just me. Yahoo.
Yahooligans.
So Lucas, Yahoo. What you got?
A lack of respect.
Yeah, that's
Catalonian-
true. That's true.
You don't respect
Catalonian-
yourself.
No, of course not.
Catalonian? Okay. They're still trying to win independence. We'll see how it goes.
Well, this is in California, as far as I can understand it.
Okay.
Catalonian nudist campaign against clothed nudists or clothed tourists.
Okay.
Pretty much there is now gone to I'll just read it off. There's a sun-kissed stretch of beach in Catalonia that's Sigmion Riviera. Can't pronounce that anyway. Began to self-feel conscious. For as long as a 56-year-old could remember, the area's turquoise waters had primarily been frequented by nudists. Now he was painfully aware of being surrounded by sunbathers in their swimsuits.
How dare they?
So apparently it's become such an issue with the nudists that their nudist beaches have become inundated with tourists coming in clothing.
That's just messed up, man. They're just trying to see somebody's ding dong. You know, why else would you go to, honestly, why else would you go to a nude beach?
Not to look at people.
I've heard a lot of horror stories that it's
Sure.
not exactly the attractive ones that are nude.
No, that's the thing. Nudist beaches are not like hot girls and guys. It's mostly old
Nope.
folks.
No, yeah. I've
Yeah.
gone to a couple of them, and it's just to get rid of like the white parts of your body.
Sure.
Why did you
Is
go?
this still the
oh,
one?
okay. All right.
Is this
Wait,
still
what
the
were you
one?
gonna?
I was
wait,
gonna say, why did you go?
Trying to get rid of that thong tan line. That's
I
why.
have to. Yeah.
Yeah, I feel you. There's one right up the way, right? Just south of.
Yeah, Hollover.
Yeah.
That's the one I go to.
Yeah. Haven't been, but maybe one of these days I'll just have to do it, man. Just let my dong hang low.
Do you have to be
Dragging along
nude
the
to go
sand.
there, or do you have to like just be like?
No, you could go clothed. I went clothed the first time, but it's up to you.
Just get in the water, like just butt naked. Fuck it. Or
Yeah, skinny dipping. Have you ever been skinny dipping?
Yeah,
Like
yeah.
in a pool?
Not in the ocean, though. In a pool, though.
The ocean's cool. You can feel the fishes.
Oh God.
I'm sure they're taking a nice.
Yeah, they clean you up.
I'm sure they do. Nice. Just clean you up, empty you out. All right, Lucas. So they're just pissed off that people are coming into their nude beach
Yeah.
with bathing suits on.
Yeah, pretty much. It's been a decades-long nudist beach.
Sure.
it's more of a tradition than anything, but they've actually come to Catalan government
I'm sure
asking
they
for a
do
meeting
come.
to address what is described as the discrimination that nudists face on the beaches of Catalonia. The collective has already started mulling potential requests from beefed up signage for nude beach to a public awareness campaign that would help foster respect for naturism.
Maybe they just want, like, because you would imagine a nude beach probably is like less crowded. Maybe they just want to go to a beach that doesn't have as many people.
Yeah.
All right. Well,
Or maybe there's some people that just want to see naked, the nude here.
yeah, but like, you know, like I said, there's not a lot of like hot. I mean, I've never been, but
no, I mean,
same thing. I've heard the
people
stories.
Basically, the nudist people are complaining that people are coming there with bathing suits on.
Yeah.
Correct?
Yeah.
So
which in the past I noticed either people get there, they realize what it is, they strip down and join the group,
Sure.
but
or they
these
would
people
just
haven't
leave.
been. These people haven't been joining the group.
Yeah, they just been staying suited up.
Like, the reason I don't get naked at the nudist beach is because I don't want everybody to be jealous of my body. So, like, I just don't do it.
Sure.
Yeah,
Sure.
but you know,
What, you packing that cake?
Wow. Where does this go?
I'm not interested in you.
I'm not saying not.
Our
That's a
future.
relief.
I almost
Sure.
slipped
Yeah.
big time.
All right. Well, we're going to take our break right there. We'll be back with the toll on Lahaina and what's going on with the wildfires and the trend of the wildfires. Laz has a beefy asshole combo. We got Laz's corner of positivity. So we will be back very shortly. Boom. Man, nice boom. Look at you, Adrian. So I want to, so we're back, and I want to just start with I hate to do it. I mean, I don't hate to do it. I kind of have to do it. But I just want to start with, the devastation, because you guys can see, and I'll go ahead and play it. You guys can see that, like, legit, like everything except for the few buildings that were concrete or maybe cinder block, which there were some. But it was a historic area, and most of it was more wood than anything else. And legit, like everything, it looks like the surface of the moon in some areas, because all of the buildings are just burnt to ash. Boats, docks were out in the water, like they caught on fire. Boats had melted. There legit were cars, like people like abandoned their cars in the middle of the road, just trying to get out of there.
But that's like just a wildfire?
Yeah, but the wildfire took over. Are you watching? Oh, no, you're not watching.
Yeah.
Okay, yeah. So, I mean, that's the thing. Like, you can see this row of cars over to the left, and all these people had abandoned their cars just trying to get out. And these cars are completely stripped. Like, there's nothing but the metal inside these cars, except for, of course, a couple of them here where, people just, drove there. But the wildfire, caught on, into this town and just literally burn it to the ground. And there's nothing left. There's nothing.
As it stands now, there's 96 deaths.
But there's going to be a lot more.
Mm-hmm.
That's for sure.
No, as it stands now, today, it's at 96. As far as 15 hours ago, they're finding people in homes, in their cars.
Yeah.
Just like as if it just snap her fingers. There was fire.
Yeah. And that's kind of, well, we'll get into it, but that's kind of, it's a little bit of what happened. So Claire Rush, Beatrice DuPuy, and Jennifer Simcoe Kelliger from AP. As the death toll from a wildfire that razed historic Maui town climbed to 93, authorities warned that the effort to find and identify the dead was still in its early ages. The blaze is already the deadliest U.S. wildfire in more than a century. So the last wildfire that was even close to this, as far as deadliness, was in the 1800s. Crews with cadaver dogs have covered just 3% of the area. The search area, Maui Police Chief John Pelletier said Saturday, quote, "We've got an area that we have to contain that is at least 5 square miles, and it's full of our loved ones," unquote. He spoke as federal emergency workers picked through the ashen moonscape left by the fire that razed centuries-old town of Lahaina. Teams marked the ruins of homes with bright orange X's to indicate an initial search, and HR when they found human remains. Battalier said that identifying the dead is challenging because, quote, "We pick up the remains as they fall apart. The remains have been through a fire that melted metal." During the search efforts, the barks of cadaver dogs alerted their handlers to potential remains echoed over the hot, colorless landscape. So these dogs, obviously, cadaver dogs, are going through and they're barking when they see something or smell something. At least 2,200 buildings were damaged or destroyed in West Maui, nearly all of them residential. Across the island, damage was estimated at close to $6 billion. As many as 4,500 police people. As many as 4,500 people need shelters, according to Federal Emergency Management Agency and the Pacific Disaster Center. People with missing family members are encouraged to go to a family assistance center to get a DNA test. So could you imagine having to get a DNA test just so they can identify people that are missing?
Yeah, that's terrible.
And the only way they're going to find DNA, of course, is like in the bones, maybe like the bone marrow.
After the burn?
Yeah.
Or the teeth.
No, teeth is like dental.
Teeth,
well, they can do
so
dental
much.
imprints, but I don't know if they're going to find DNA.
They don't have records for dental, though.
But there's nerves in the DNA, or like in the DNA. It's possible.
After it
dental
burns,
records,
there's no DNA. That's it. It's a wrap.
I don't actually, Lucas.
Research Lucas.
Yes. What is the best
after
place for
after
DNA?
a body is
I'm gonna sound
burned
like a crime
to
show
a
now.
crisp, yeah, like where do they find DNA? I would imagine inside the bones, because bones don't burn as much as you would think. That's why a lot of times after a fire like this, all that remains is a skeleton. So those who escaped were thankful to be alive as they mourned those who didn't make it. Retired fire captain Geoff Bogar and his friend of 35 years, Franklin Trejos, initially stayed behind to help others in Lahaina and save Bogar's house. But as the flames moved closer and closer Tuesday afternoon, they knew they had to flee. Each escaped to his own car. When Bogar's vehicle wouldn't start, he broke through a window to get out, then crawled on the ground into a police patrol, found him, and brought him to a hospital. Trejos wasn't as lucky. When Bogar returned the next day, he found the bones of his 68-year-old friend in the backseat of his car, lying on top of the remains of Bogar's beloved 3-year-old golden retriever, Sam, who he tried to protect. "God took a really good man," he said. That's what's crazy. So his friend was literally, so he was at his friend's house, or his friend actually was at his house trying to help him save his house. They realized they needed to get out. So, he ended up leaving, getting found by the police, but his friend stayed and ended up trying to protect his dog, and they both passed away. Maui water officials learned that Lahaina and Kula residents warned them not to drink the running water, which may be contaminated even after boiling, and only take short, lukewarm showers in well-ventilated rooms to avoid possible chemical vapor exposure. Lahaina resident Riley Curran said she doubted that county officials could have done more. Given the speed of the flames, he fled his front street home after seeing the oncoming fire of the roof of a neighboring building. It's not that, quote, "it's not that people didn't try to do anything," he said. The fire went from 0 to 100. More than a dozen people.
But why did it go so fast?
So we're gonna get into it. But I'll tell you why. So we already kind of talked to a little bit, but go ahead, Lucas. It's got a sign up. I love it.
Yeah, now that you actually notice it after I haven't been swinging it for about 30 seconds.
Well, I only notice it if the camera is on you, if the camera's on me, if the camera's on Laz. So go ahead.
So with the DNA, with the fire.
Yep.
And this is from the NIH.
Yep. National Institutes of Health.
Yep. However, even after exposure up to a max of 1,000 degrees centigrade, which equates to 1,832 Fahrenheit.
So those of you who want to know what the calculation is from going centigrade to Fahrenheit, you multiply centigrade by 1.8 and add 32. And then from Fahrenheit to centigrade minus the 32, then divide by 1.8, which is why 1,000 degrees centigrade would equate to 1,832 degrees. Go ahead.
All right, so the Celsius time is 1,000 degrees.
Yep.
It was still possible to produce a complete DNA pattern from approximately 60% of samples. Consequently, crime scenes that have been destroyed by fire should be evaluated with the same attention to detail as the unburnt areas. So the DNA can survive. It seems with a quick research that it's the bone.
Yeah. Oh, it's in the bone itself?
Yeah. Mostly it's going to be either bone, which I'm guessing going to be femur, because that's where we grab our marrow from, which has the most DNA.
Yeah. And the bone marrow probably going to boil or scorch from that heat.
Outside of that, teeth.
Okay. All right. So Adrian was right. All right, cool. Point for both of us. Go team. Just saying. All right. So more than a dozen people formed an assembly line on Kanapali Beach Saturday to unload water, toiletries, batteries, and other essentials from a catamaran that sailed from another part of Maui. David Taylor, marketing director of Kai Kanani Sailing, which runs the boat, said many of the supplies were for hotel employees who lost their homes and were living with their families at their workplaces. The aloha still exists, he said, as the group applauded when they finished unloading the boat. We all feel it's really intense, and everybody wants to feel like they can do something. So if you guys want to donate, by the way, I'll put a link up in the show notes on YouTube, on audio, so iTunes, Amazon, all that, but it's civilbeat.org. And if you go to this link, it's going to give you all these different links you can choose from. You want to donate to people that are giving food, you want to donate to people that are helping medically, you want to donate to people that are helping with the wildlife. There's all these different links you can go to that can more specifically give you areas in which you would prefer to donate. But that's pretty much all we have for the Maui thing. But yeah, the reason it moved so quickly, getting back to your question, Laz, is because they don't know how it started, but giving all the winds, power lines were down. So safe to say it could have been a lightning strike, could have been, a power line that was down, could have been man-made. But the problem is the 60-mile-an-hour gusts just turned this regular fire into a inferno. In fact, every time I grill, and we just grilled for Alicia's birthday at the park, and, I was using a piece of cardboard to fan the fire to get the coals going. Couple grills down, these guys actually had an electric fan similar to the one you have above you, just blowing into it. So you get this wind going, it's going to make this fire burn a lot more intensely, a lot, hotter, but also it's going to help it to move. On top of that, you get a little ember that gets picked up by this wind and blows it a mile down. That ember lands in that super dry shit.
Sense. Yeah.
And same thing. Then you get these big fires with more wind, and then you get more embers that blow into the house.
You don't know what you're igniting it also.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And one of these embers lands on your dry ass, yard.
Fuck that. It could land on the gas station, land on a propane.
Yeah.
It could land on anything.
Land on your roof.
That makes sense. Yeah.
So, and that's what happened, dude. These people it just hit so fast, and they just didn't know what the hell to do. And thing is, I saw some of the videos. I don't want to go too crazy. You guys can look at home by yourself. But I was, looking at some of these videos, and these people trying to film their escape, it's daytime, but you can't see anything. There's smoke, there's fire. You're completely disoriented. You have no which way to go, no which way. You don't know which way the water is. You're just going, hoping to, get out of the fire. That's the thing, man. Like the 60-mile-an-hour gusts of wind. I mean, even the constant winds from this hurricane. So you got hurricanes in the middle of the Pacific Ocean because of all the heat causing all this wind, super dry, and you get those two things together, bro, it's a wrap. So how do wildfires usually start? Almost 85% of wildfires in the United States. Well, let me ask you this. Why 85%? What would you guys say? Why 85%? How do they start?
People.
Well,
That's it.
100% people. So what's the
people.
other 50%? 85% of the people, 50% is what?
85% people. Well, you can't have 85 and 50.
I mean, what's the other 15?
Oh, 15. Okay. So yeah, 85% caused by humans, according to National Park Service. Fires that are sparked this way can result accidentally from leaving campfires unattended, burning debris, using various kinds of equipment, and discarding cigarettes improperly. I'm surprised that a cigarette would start a fire because I don't remember cigarettes being like that hot, but I guess if it's dry enough, right?
Yeah.
Well, it won't light up gas.
No.
No.
The shit in the movies,
that's
Mythbusters killed that.
Mythbusters.
Yeah, for sure.
But
I mean, I still don't smoke when I fill up the gas tank on my mower.
Okay. But
you
still,
did what?
when he fills up the gas tank on his mower, does your mower use oil gas mix?
No, it's 4 strokes or
I gotcha.
separate. Weed whacker's the same.
So international
weed
acts of
whackers,
arson are also another source of human wildfires. So number 2, lightning and volcanic activity are 2 natural cause of wildfires, though lightning strikes are much
What
more
percent
common.
is that?
It doesn't have a percentage there, but I would guess lightning's probably in the 10% of them.
Well, it's usually raining when it's lightning.
Yes, sort of,
Sometimes.
kind of, sometimes. Yeah,
You're
could
not getting
have-
a lightning strike
but-
randomly.
Actually, let's find
yeah,
out,
yeah.
Lucas.
Research Lucas.
How,
lightning
how
strike-
often do you get lightning without rain?
I could tell you a lightning strike can strike you at least 10 miles
Oh
away
yeah, we
from the
covered
storm.
this. Remember my beef for the
but what
birthday
about
party?
while it's raining? Like, most
How
likely everything will be wet.
So,
Like
so
a
what's the question?
dry lightning strike.
Yeah,
A dry
'cause
lightning
Oh,
strike.
they can strike up to 10
Often.
miles away from the storm
How often does lightning strike?
without rain.
Or causes a fire. Like,
Well, that's hard to determine.
but okay, but like if the storm is going through where the lightning has striked or is going
Has
to strike or struck, fuck you. You're correcting me today. Get the fuck out of
I
here.
gotta keep it even, bro.
Hey, language.
Gotta level it
language.
out.
The fuck's gonna
That's
go
his
all
one.
the way.
That's his one.
But
So, real quick, to Laz's question, how common is lightning without rain?
Yes.
While it might seem like a contradiction in terms to have a thunderstorm without precipitation, it is quite common in areas of the western United States where the heat index can be very high, particularly in late spring and early summer months with low humidity.
so a cloud can produce lightning, no water, nothing.
Yep.
What, you never seen heat lightning?
I've never seen that.
I don't know if I've seen heat lightning. So, have any of us been in a fire, by the way, or been near a fire or seen a house
Yeah.
fire? Have you?
Yeah.
Nah.
Yeah.
I used to work in the.
You used to work where?
I used to do like fire, water, mold mitigation.
Oh, okay.
So a lot of burning buildings that I would have to go to while it's still burning. And
Oh,
the
shit.
homeowners
While
would
it's
be
still
outside.
burning?
Yeah, the homeowners would be outside, and it was my job to approach them and kind of sell them insurance, which was
Oh,
kind of messed up.
Yeah.
While it's burning,
While it's burning, that's
Can
why
you
I
sell
stopped.
insurance while it's burning? Like you got to sell it before it completely burns? How does that work?
It's Miami. You can get away with a lot of
oh
things.
god.
Yeah, that's true.
I've been
Wow.
in and put out a house fire.
Fudging.
Yeah, that's why I stopped. I
Yeah.
kind of stopped out of a
My
moral.
house is on fire.
Moral, I get
Call
it.
Yeah,
Adrian.
definitely.
Like, yo, like,
Damn.
The look on people's faces when I try to sell them insurance, I can't.
Good Lord. Well, I thankfully have never been in a fire. I've never tried to, sell anyone fire insurance while I was going. Don't smoke cigarettes, which is great. But yeah, I mean, before we move on, just one last little look. I mean, like everything in this area in Lahaina and it's just devastated. I mean, actually, one of the biggest concern is all these rich people are going to come in and rebuild it, and obviously the quaintness, like all you can see, like the only thing standing legit is like metal and cinder block. Everything is. It literally looks like these houses are going up, like they're building this cinder block, and they haven't even put the rest of the house together yet.
that's
So-
crazy.
It looks like a war. Like
It does.
Ukraine.
Yeah, that's true. I mean, honestly, it looks like parts of Ukraine,
Yeah.
to be honest with you. So just the cleanup alone, it's going to be interesting to see what they do. Hopefully, the insurance companies. In fact, I think State Farm, Lucas, can you look this up? I think State Farm pulled out of Florida because they're like, we just can't insure Florida anymore. We're getting too screwed over. And insurance companies they're starting to really have issues with all the stuff that's going on. All right, so new data confirms forest fires are getting worse. Jane McCarthy, Sasha Chukavina, Michaela Weiss, and Nancy Harris from World Resources Institute. This is dated August 17th, 2022. So this is last year. So when you think about this is last year, and then you compare that to what's already happening this year, this is going to be a bit of a wake-up call. New data on forest fires confirms what we have long feared. Forest fires are becoming more widespread, burning nearly twice as much tree cover today as they did 20 years ago. Using data from a new study by researchers at the University of Maryland. What? University of Maryland? We like that? So we calculate... Because I lived in Maryland. My best friend Steve lives in Maryland. Do I need a reason, bro?
Yes. I've never heard you say anything about Maryland ever.
I just moved from Maryland. Maryland, D.C. area.
Recently,
yeah, sure. My best friend Steve goes to Maryland. So anyway.
I thought I was your best friend.
Oh.
Nope. Let me just kill myself now.
All right, Lucas, what you got?
So before I was even able to finish out the State Farm, it came up, did State Farm pull out of California as, one of the options?
Sure.
That I didn't look it up, but State Farm Insurance said this week that it's sticking with Florida and sees more opportunity there. That's of July 14th, 2023 from Fox Business.
Okay.
Thanks to the state's recent reforms to the industry, issuing a statement on the matter days after competitor Farmers Insurance became the latest insurer to reduce
Farmers,
coverage.
Not State Farm. Well, I knew there's a farm in there somewhere. So yeah, State or Farmers Insurance, they're like, you know what? We're peace out. We're done with Florida. We can't. It's too expensive, and unfortunately, that's the type of stuff that's going to keep happening. Or insurance prices are going to be like through the freaking roof.
They go up for no reason.
They already are.
My car insurance went up for nothing. I haven't got an accident ticket. Nothing.
Yeah, well, my 2 cars and my renter's insurance, actually the new policies this month, it went up like $40 a month between.
For what? Well, why? And then when did you call them?
Because
yeah, I know that's good. When I called them, they was like, just cause it doesn't make sense for somebody that has no issues.
I hear you. So yeah, I was talking about Maryland. So using data from a new study by researchers at the University of Maryland, we calculate that forest fires now result in 3 million more hectares of tree cover loss per year compared to 2001, an area roughly the size of Belgium. So why are forest fires worsening? Climate change is likely a major driver. No surprise there. Extreme heat was already 5 times more likely today than 150 years ago, and it's expected to become even more frequent as the planet continues to warm. Warmer temperatures dry out the landscape and create the perfect environment for larger, more frequent forest fires. This, in turn, leads to higher emissions from forest fires, further exacerbating the climate change and contributing to more forest fires as part of the fire climate feedback loop, which we already talked about. More trees burn, more methane goes into the air, makes it hotter, and obviously, more trees suck up less carbon, so they're giving off carbon instead of sucking it up. More trees, also less shade. And same thing with the ice caps. Remember, when we were talking about, the heat wave and everything, ice caps melting, when all that ice reflects solar radiation back into Earth, whereas the ocean absorbs it. So when those ice caps melt, instead of more stuff being reflected back into Earth, it's actually being absorbed. So this is what I was talking about. We're going to talk about Russia, Canada. So boreal forest fires threaten to release deep soil carbon. So boreal, so Boreal. This is all fire that's around the North Pole, not up in the North Pole, but all the fire towards the north. The large majority, roughly 70% of all fire-related tree cover, so roughly 70%. And this is once again this is last year. That doesn't even include the shit going on in Canada this year. Of all fire-related tree cover loss over the past 2 decades occurred over boreal regions. Though fire is a natural part of how boreal forests function ecologically, fire-related tree cover loss increased by a rate of about 110,000 hectares, or 3% per year over the last 20 years. So, in other words, about 3% every year, getting more and more and more. And they mentioned that these boreal forest fires is part of the whole ecological thing. The reason why is lightning strikes it. fire happens, burns out whatever portion of the fire it's going to burn out. Eventually it goes out on its own, rain, whatever. So all those trees, some of them die, some of them don't. But what that does is it puts a lot of carbon into the ground. Believe it or not, a lot of seeds seep into the ground, and, they get fertilized and new forest growth happens. One of the reasons why California is getting hit so badly, I don't know if it's the same with Canada. I kind of doubt it because that's more wilderness-y. So, for example, in 2021, Russia saw an astonishing 5.4 million hectares or 21,000 square miles. Just in 21 alone, just in Russia, 21,000 square miles, 5.4 million hectares of fire-related tree cover loss, the most recorded in the last 20 years, and a 31% increase over 2020. So 2021 was 31% more than 2020. So the trend is worrying because boreal forests are the largest terrestrial carbon storehouses on the planet, with most carbon stores underground in the soil, including in the permafrost. We talked about this. Permafrost melts, all this carbon that's been stuck there, and it starts to evaporate into the air. Changes in climate and fire activity are melting permafrost and making soil carbon more vulnerable to burning. And what the problem is, right now, the boreal forests are actually a carbon sink. They ingest and they hold more carbon than they give out because there's so many trees. The trees hold the carbon. The permafrost holds the carbon. But since these trees are burning and there's not as many trees actually absorb the carbon, and more trees are burning, giving off carbon. And because of all that fact, with global warming, the ground is melting. More carbon is being released in the air. It's turning from a place that actually absorbs carbon to a place that gives off carbon. So that's what's going on with Canada and Russia. It's just a runaway effect, unfortunately. And there's your answer, Laz. Lazzy poo. Mm-hmm. So we'll see. Hopefully things get better, but it doesn't look great because without trees, we're kind of fucked. Just saying.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah, definitely.
Let's plant a tree anytime. I mean, we don't have that problem here.
Yeah, but where are you going to plant a tree here? And honestly, palm trees, what the fuck do they do? There's like five leaves on a big ass stalk, like 40 feet in the air.
Have you
They're not trees. They're
You've
not
flown
really trees.
over here, though.
They're not really trees?
No, it's actually a type of grass.
Is it a palm tree, really?
Yeah, it's a type of grass.
No shit. Wow.
Yeah, I found that out during the hurricane. There was a bunch of like chopped up palm trees by my neighborhood, and the inside looked like a sponge. It didn't look like a tree. So
That's
when I Googled
interesting.
it was a type of grass. Just a tall type of grass.
Well, there you have it, folks.
When you
The
fly
more
over
you
Miami, there's a
know.
lot of trees.
Right.
Bro.
Well, the Everglades, there's, a lot of trees there. Actually, believe it or not, the, damn it, slipped my head. What are the trees with the roots that go down? Mangroves. Yeah, they are massive at absorbing carbon. They are huge. So if we could get some more of those planted, no one's chopping them down to make room in the Everglades. That's for sure.
What do they do to suck up all the water in Miami that they did before?
The mangroves?
Was that the same one? No, mangroves are in Everglades. What do they do? There was some tree that they brought here that they didn't have a natural predator or whatever, and that's how they got all the water sucked up out of the water.
Really?
Down here. Yeah.
They have to plant a lot of trees to suck up the water.
They did it.
I haven't heard that. Lucas,
Research.
can you look up water absorbing trees in Florida or South Florida? See if anything comes up. So yeah, that's pretty much it for that. Hopefully something drastic happens, but unfortunately, like the whole earth needs to start planting trees out the freaking wazoo. I don't really know, what else we could potentially do to change, the direction. Yeah, well, stop producing carbon. Stop burning the trees where it produces more carbon. Solar power. I mean, the sun, bro. The entire planet lives off the sun. All the plants.
Yeah, but the thing to make the batteries is harmful as well.
The rare earths. That's true.
Yeah. So
But you know what, bro? I mean, once all the batteries are made, if we can recycle the batteries that die into more batteries, it might be worth it. Look, I mean, Lance, why do you got to ruin it, bro?
I'm just saying, bro. Everything is not like
forget it.
you can't. There's not like
Laz, get in the mood for your corner.
Yeah, right.
I'm not in the mood today.
Yeah, I can see
this
that.
month.
Jeez.
Fuck that.
Suck it.
Suck it. That's what he thinks. All right, Luke or Laz. So,
What?
Oh, that.
You got beef?
so Laz has a beefy combo. Let's see.
All right, I had
what
an
you got.
asshole first. Like,
First is asshole.
Am I an asshole?
wasn't
Go
an
ahead.
asshole. So
You don't have a beefy asshole?
no, I never have a beefy asshole.
Remember
I don't know what that
Laz's
means.
beef or Laz's meat. Remember, you're going to do your own beef jerky. Laz's meat.
Oh God, this is disgusting. You guys, I'm not even started with you people today.
Okay.
Anyway, so
Sounds
one
about
of,
white.
one of my friends was throwing a party for her boyfriend. So we went to Costco to buy a whole bunch of stuff, whatever. We were going to Costco. So another friend who has a baby, I had to give her a ride because she didn't have a car or whatever. She's like, oh, do you mind taking me? I'm like, yeah, no problem. So she wanted her friend to go with us, but the friend has a baby. And I
How
smoke him
old?
like a year old.
Okay.
Yeah. The baby just turned a year. I smoke in my car. Everybody knows that.
Yes.
If it's something like I know I'm going to have to take the kids out or something like that, I'm not smoking in the car. I'll roll my windows down. It is what it is.
Sure.
So she's like, we're bringing the baby. It's a hot day, like today. Like this is like 2
Like
weeks
every
ago.
day.
Like every fucking day.
Even when it's cloudy.
Yeah. So I guess she hasn't been out of the house that much in summertime and it's been really hot. So she's like, we need to have the windows down. Mind you, she had no reason to go. We didn't need her. Like,
What about AC?
I have AC in my car
But why would she need the windows down?
because she didn't want the car to smell like smoke because she
Oh,
wanted to bring the baby with
Your
her.
car smells like smoke. That's all there is to it.
Yeah, if you know that already. And I agreed. It's fine.
Okay.
Yeah, I was like, you know what? It's a baby. It wasn't, even though I was a little annoyed, I kept putting the windows up and then back down and whatever.
Sure.
It's okay. So, and I was like, man, fuck the baby. I need the windows up. It's hot as fuck. Like, it is what it is, right?
Fuck them kids.
Yeah. So I feel like I was a bit of an asshole, but I tried to relate. And I didn't smoke in the car while the baby was in the car. And I did while my car was parked waiting for them to go pick them up, whatever. The windows are down. It's fine. Was an asshole.
So
for this?
who's the woman that had to go? She's like a friend.
She had no
family?
reason to go. It was a friend of a friend. Like literally, like it's my friend. It's not really my friend, but it's like an acquaintance friend. It's like you don't know Adrian, but like Adrian's my friend. But
Sure.
if Adrian wanted to go somewhere with us, but he was very uncomfortable with the situation, Adrian didn't have to go.
Sure.
Feel me? And
Did this woman buy anything? Did she need anything?
she needed random things, but nothing that she
Sure.
didn't need to go. We could have bought her stuff. That's it. It is what it
How long is the ride?
It's from like downtown.
10 minutes, 15
like
minutes?
20 minutes, 20 minutes. But it's hot as fuck.
Yeah.
It's hot. It's hot as fuck.
I'm gonna say no, you're not an asshole.
No.
No?
All right. But her whole thing was the whole smoke thing, right?
Yeah.
And remember, we were buying something.
You should know what you're getting yourself into.
And she knew already. And even like the friend was like, oh, just put your windows down before you get there. Don't smoke in the car before you pick up the baby. But they told me that when I was almost there.
Sure.
Yeah. So anyways, so then we go to Costco, we buy whatever we need for the party, this and that, whatever. We go back to their place, whatever. And then we figure it out. And then we're going to my friend's boyfriend's house to drop all the stuff to the party. Now it's like a party for adults, right? It's crazy, people are smoking paraphernalia, random shit, this
Sure.
and that, whatever. She wants to go to the party. With the baby.
Oh my God.
With
bro.
the baby,
Oh, dude.
with her boyfriend
Nah.
as well. And I'm just like, yo, so you made my very hot Miami day in 2 or 3
I
o'clock
think
in the
she's an
afternoon.
asshole.
Yeah,
Yep.
exactly. And I'm just like, yo, you ruined, like, it ruined my whole, like, you know how I am.
Did you have like a little bit of guilt? Was I right? Was I wrong?
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
And then this bitch comes to the fucking party with the baby. She might hear the
Damn,
show.
dude.
Like, and I'm just like, damn. Like, that was my beef. So I'm like, I know I wasn't an asshole. I was an asshole.
Did she leave?
Huh?
Did she leave the baby outside? Or was it an
Nah.
outside party?
At the party, she went to the party. But she came to the party. They stayed for like 30 minutes. Probably the same amount of time she happened to be in the car in the first place.
Sure.
Yeah. And I'm just like, you came here
With like paraphernalia and all that shit.
and you stressed me out for 30 minutes about my fucking car, which I didn't even want you to go in the first place. Cause I felt like an asshole because of the baby situation.
Sure.
And then it's just like,
But now you just feel sorry for the baby because look
I
at
didn't feel sorry for the baby. I'm just like, nothing was wrong. Like, I smoked in my car. I never smoked in front of my kid, but
Sure.
like, or in like my dog.
No,
doesn't
but I'm
smoke.
saying you have a parent that's taking her baby to this like more adult style.
Yeah. while just in the same day, you're complaining about my car having like a smoke smell. So like it boggles me.
That's the one thing I can say. Like, obviously, like Elaine and I are not together anymore, but the one thing that makes it easy for me is she's an amazing mother. And bro, she wouldn't even get in the car she wouldn't even get in the car. She wouldn't be at that party. She wouldn't do any of that shit.
Yeah, I'm not like, I wouldn't bring my kid to a party where anybody's doing like random shit. Like, not at all, which I understand. But you can't bother me because you decided to go with me somewhere in my car, which you know I smoke in my car, which when I have to do like the kid stuff, I air fresh, whatever, did what I gotta do. It is what it is.
With the windows closed and the AC on.
Yeah. But like you're gonna like, I'm in my mind, I'm like, why are you like, you're here? And
after all that shit,
after my annoying part of the day, which like you had no reason to go with us in the first place. You just were bored. You didn't want to stay home with your baby. Like, fuck that.
Clearly, she doesn't want to stay home with the baby. I think we've established that.
Yeah, but like, oh God.
So, well, you're not an asshole. I think you have reason to have beef. That's for sure. So, anybody else with beef out there? Anyone else think they might be an asshole? Anyone? No? All right. Well, that being the case,
Laz's Corner of Positivity.
It's time for Laz's Corner of Positivity. We've had a pretty negative show today. not anything to do with us. Just been a lot of negative shit.
We're counting on you.
Counting on me. Oh,
yeah.
Man. I have two things, but like one is a teen who is making handmade bow ties for homeless animals.
Homeless animals?
Yeah, like for like a shelter. So basically he makes the bow ties, and every one he sells, he makes another one for a homeless and not a homeless animal, like the homeless shelters. So he makes a homeless bow tie. I'm
sorry, but he's making bow ties for homeless animals.
He's making handmade bow ties and he's selling them. But for everyone he sells, he gives another
that
one.
Makes more. No, I'm just picturing.
Yeah,
people.
I wasn't ready.
Putting bow ties on like
somebody else should have had something.
There's a snake with a fucking bow tie slithering around its cage.
So
okay, that makes more sense.
Another bow tie for the sheltered animals that nobody really wants to adopt, so they look a little cuter, so people can grab them. Or
sure.
That one was a little weird.
I feel like that could work.
Yeah, but it's been working.
Look cuter if it's got a bow tie. Sure.
Because a lot of the shelters have been like getting overcrowded, and
of course
getting rid of the animals. There's like one cute one. It's like if you see it.
Like, sure, it's cute.
And then in Wilton Manors and Miami, they're doing book bag and school supply distributions.
I remember Ricky did that. He collected money. He was buying book bags and school supplies.
Yeah, Ricky used to do a lot. That's the thing with Ricky. Like, he'd be on his weird shit, but he's like always on point with like stuff like helping people. He will always help everybody.
Yeah.
So they're doing that.
I remember I gave him $50. He's like, "Oh my God, you just bought this many book bags and this and this for like X amount of kids." I was like, "Here's the $50, bro. I don't need the breakdown. Thank you."
Somebody today, I went to Target to pick up something, and then she was telling me about feedthechildren.org. You know what I liked about her? She literally just told me, "Have you heard of feedthechildren.org?" And I'm like, "No." And she kind of seen that I was in a rush, but I did stop and talk to her. And then she's like, "Just look at it. If you want to do something, do it. If you don't do it." She wasn't like a pressuring person.
Sure.
And because of that, I actually put the website in.
That's cool.
And I'm gonna I'll look it up and do whatever I have to do if I have to do anything. I do donate to things sometimes, but not as much as I probably should or not. But I do help people if I have to.
It's tough, man. Everything's getting so damn expensive.
Yeah, but you don't know, like, sometimes people are just doing like funny things. And I'm like, "Do you need me to take your name or anything?" She's like, no, I just want you to know, if you look it up, if you like it, donate. If not, share it, whatever it is, what it is. And I preferred that. She wasn't invasive and it was good.
Cool.
So like I had a lot of like randomly positive things in the past like couple of days.
Look at you, bro.
Even though this whole week has been a kind of a negative week for a lot of shit.
Well, I'm glad to hear that. That's pretty awesome. So the book bag thing, they're giving book bags to kids and stuff.
Yeah, that was they did it on Sunday. I think they're doing it again this week.
That's cool.
Wilton Manors and Miami-Dade County, obviously.
Cool.
It's good for the kids.
Hell yeah.
Especially for the less fortunate ones.
Well, rock on. I think that pretty much wraps up this show. Wasn't it? I thought I was going to like really go over, but I think like we got through the information pretty well and pretty quickly. Adrian, appreciate you coming on the show. Hope you had a good time.
I did.
First time people on the show, they're always a little timid, not sure what to say, when to say, you know, but we're glad you're here. Well, I'm like, God damn
You
it.
can't even speak today, bro. Like, I don't know what's wrong with you.
Didn't voicing crack the whole show.
No, but like you're on some other shit today.
Yeah, a lot going on.
Those kids went from playing tag to full contact.
Yeah.
Oh God.
They're back there wrestling. Look out, boys. So, we'll get you back on the show. We'll get you on rotation. You're going away, right? You're going to California soon?
Yeah, I'm going to go to California for 2 months for training.
When do you leave?
The 23rd.
Okay, so we'll get you when you come back.
Couple days?
Yeah,
Weeks.
that's cool.
A week and a couple
Nice,
days.
bro. Well, enjoy yourself.
Thank you.
And that's pretty much it. We got Seth in mic 1. We got Laz in mic 2.
Yo.
We got Lucas in mic 3.
Hey.
We got Adrian on mic 4.
Yo.
Appreciate you coming through.
Appreciate
and you bet, man. We'll see you guys next week. Boom.
Boom.
Damn, Lucas and Adrian with like dueling booms. Look at that.